Alright, so first video on section 1.6 or 1-6 um, about solving quadratic equations. And this first section here is really just conceptual. So we got a few different ways, specifically 4 different ways of solving quadratics. And so here's a quadratic equation right now written in standard form. A times x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And our easiest or quickest one is to take a square root. This one we're going to use when there is no b term, or b specifically is equal to 0. So you can use when the quadratic equation, so not the quadratic formula, but the quadratic equation over here. Use when quadratic equation has no b term, or specifically has 0 as the b term. So yeah, no b term, or really that b equals 0. Or it can be written as x minus p squared equals n, where p and n are any number, where p and n are any number. And that's just because then we can take the square root of both sides here, and after that you could add p. And so that's kind of the foundational piece for completing the square a little bit later on. So factoring. We can factor when b squared minus 4ac, which is known as your discriminant, when the discriminant is a perfect square. If it's a perfect square, then it is factorable. So for example, if your discriminant is 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, so on, so forth. If it's a perfect square, then it's factorable. It's easiest if A, B, and C, so the A, B, and C over here, A, B, and C, if they're integers. Not necessary, but it certainly is easiest. Quadratic formula works all the time. There's no situation the quadratic formula will not work for. Just isn't always the fastest way. But this one will work in every situation with a quadratic equation. Last one, completing the square, also works all the time. However, it's going to be easiest when b is even, because when you're completing the square, you divide b in half and then square that result. And if b is odd, you end up with a fraction. And there's not a huge problem with it, but just it's a little bit easier when b is even. And again, when a, b, and c are integers. So when a, b, and c are integers. Alright, in the next video we'll go through some examples of actually using these 4 methods. Alright.